Well, if you notice a lot of people wearing red today, there's a good reason. It's because we're all trying to help raise awareness all month long about the #1 killer of women, heart disease. And as we do, it's very important to also celebrate the survivors. And tonight we are sharing the story of a woman who went from being a new mom to a heart transplant patient within weeks.
Now, this all happened when she was just out of her 20s, and it turns out heart disease is not that uncommon for younger women and recent mothers. Laura Papetti shares Jen Rohr's survivor story.
And while Eastern Washington, including Spokane, remains stuck in phase 1 of our state's reopening plan,
the COVID-19 crisis has dominated the news for nearly a year. All eyes are focused on what is a deadly virus with crippling consequences. There is nothing that can minimize the severity of COVID, but there is something that is continuing to plague people, both pervasive and destructive in its impact.
I knew something was really wrong when I was trying to climb up just one flight of stairs in my house and I couldn't make it but halfway. And I was on my hands and knees and I was just crawling up the stairs because I couldn't make it and I just flopped on my bed.
Jen Rohe was 30 years old, young, a new mom to her second baby. With 2 little kids, it was no wonder she felt tired. But following her near collapse on the stairs, she was taken to the hospital. Tests showed her heart was functioning at 18%. She was in heart failure.
The cardiologist came in and he was like, "You can never, ever have another baby, and your best chance is to have a heart transplant because you have peripartum cardiomyopathy."
It's a condition that generally impacts women at the end of pregnancy or soon after giving birth. While her heart was filled with the love of motherhood, it was her heart that was now failing, and fast. And while Rose's story is startling, she is actually part of a familiar statistic when it comes to women and heart disease. According to the American Heart Association, heart disease is the #1 killer of women. It is a fairly familiar statistic, often reported, but maybe lesser known is that nearly half of women aged 20 years and older are living with some form of heart disease. And if the numbers don't startle you, then look at Rohe, the picture of health, holding a baby weeks before her heart failed.
It's so important to talk about heart health. It's the #1 killer of women. It's the #1 killer of new moms.
She was lucky. She got a new heart and fairly soon. And now, 3 years later, she is spending her time volunteering on behalf of the American Heart Association, giving interviews like the one with us. Rohe says her kids will know the dangers of heart disease and will make sure that if her family history of heart problems is passed along, so will her knowledge to fight it.
Wow, and we just want to thank Jen for sharing her story here with us. And all month long, KREM will be telling the stories to support the fight against heart disease and promoting heart health awareness.